So this video is all about some of the tips and tricks that I do in Procreate to add some visual effects or add some things that pop out on my chart that are fast to do. The main thing is that they're fast and they're easy to do. And there are some things that you just can't really do on paper, and doing them on a tablet makes them possible. So these are some of the fun things that I really like to do. All right, tip number 1 is adding shading to your title. So a lot of the times when I'm working on paper, I like to add shading and I have to go letter by letter. In digital, you can do this really fast. It's so cool. First time I learned this, I was like, wait, that's all it takes? So let me show you how this is done. First, you want to get some writing on your canvas. So I'm just gonna throw up some letters. And now I want to open up my layer menu, and you'll see here that on this layer I have my title. And what I want to do next is make a copy of this layer. So I'm going to swipe to the right and then I can duplicate it. There we go. So I'm going to go to the bottom layer and I want to click on that letter N. And this opens up a menu of options, and the one that we're focusing on is the opacity up here. So I want to bring the opacity down to 50%. There it is. Okay, I can just tap on the layer once I'm done. And it's really important that this is the bottom layer and that you have this selected, because next we're going to be moving this layer. So I'm going to click on the move tool, and then I'm just slightly going to move that bottom layer to the side. I mean, this is amazing. It's so simple to do this, but doesn't it make the title look so much better already? Once you learn how to do this, you can do this so fast. And if I'm in a rush and I just need a title, I will just do some shading behind it and call it a win. Tip number 2 is creating perfect shapes quickly. So I found that adding shapes to your charts helps with categories or just popping things out. So I use shapes all the time, and instead of having to struggle with making perfect shapes and drawing that perfect circle, Procreate will actually help you out. So I'm going to change to a different color here. I'm going to choose this nice kind of orangey color, and I'm going to choose my bullet nib. That's the one I prefer for drawing shapes because I want that nice monoline. This is a good moment to create a new layer. I want to get off of this layer, so I'm going to create a new layer. So I'm not drawing on my previous title layer. I want to start by just drawing a circle, and at the end I'm going to press and hold. So I'm not going to lift my pen at the end. So I'm drawing my circle here and I'm going to press and hold, and there's a circle. It just automatically snaps it into place, and if I press with one finger on the screen, it will then make it a perfect circle. And I can lift, and there's my perfect circle. So let's do that again. I'm going to draw a circle, and you're not going to lift your pen at the end. There it is, it's snapped into place. If I want to make sure it's less of an oval, I'm going to just tap with one finger and then lift at the end. I love that it makes it this easy to make shapes on the fly. You don't have to select a shape tool. You can just draw your best rendition of that shape. Here's a triangle, hold at the end, and there's a perfect triangle. Works for boxes, and again, if you want to be a perfect square. So this is really cool. I mean, you can just play around with this and make a bunch of shapes. I just think this is such a useful thing to be able to do in terms of creating any kind of patterns. Whoa, that's a new one. I don't even know what that is. That was supposed to be a triangle. That's a new shape. Okay, well, we'll take that. This is so quick and easy, but I use this to create bullets. I use this to create containers to then write in. I really love using the shapes. Very fast, easy thing for you to do. Okay, tip number 3 is adding big blocks of color to your canvas. There's a really easy way to just fill in big blocks of color in Procreate. I'm gonna just drag the color, drag from the color tool right here, and I'm just gonna drag it to the shape that I want it to fill. So I'm not pressing and holding here, I'm just dragging from the color and I'm dropping it where I want it to fill. I'm gonna do that with the square. So easy. You don't have to sit there and color it. The one thing that you have to remember is that the lines have to be connected. So if there's a space, like there's a space right here, and I try to fill this shape, it'll just fill the entire canvas. with that color. So you can undo that. Remember, 2-finger tap to undo. So this needs to be connected in order for me to be able to fill it. So I might just draw a line. Again, you can press and hold with a line and it'll make a perfect line. And now I can fill that shape and it'll be okay there. So apart from doing this with shapes, you can also do this with text. So if I wanted to change the color of my title, first let's go back to that layer. And if I wanted to make these letters this orange instead of this dark blue, I can just drop the color tool right onto my title. I mean, this is so cool. So that's a really easy thing that you can do to change colors quickly on your canvas or to create color blocks. Apart from just filling shapes, you can also do big blocks on your canvas. So sometimes I'll like to create just a line of some sort, and you want to make sure that it is touching the edges. So you'll notice that I kind of drew going off each side of the canvas here. So there's no space between the edge of the canvas and the line. It's fully connected, so we know it's going to fill, and I can just drag over that color. So this is a nice way. You could even fill the entire corner there. So it's nice to get these color blocks. There's something about having that kind of saturation of color that is just really unique to digital, and I really like doing that to make things pop. So sometimes I'll even just have this kind of big block and then write with a different color on top of it for my title. So I might choose a lighter color, and I might then you know, have a title on here. So writing with lighter colors on darker color blocks really pops. So that's another thing that I like to do. All right, have fun playing with these little tricks in Procreate.